In our next segment, we're talking about some of the most common violations to the Family Medical Leave Act. Attorney Jim Higgins with the Higgins Firm recently sat down with Casey Haggerty to explain what those are.
We've got Jim back in the studio with us today. Jim, great to have you.
Thank you.
All right, we're talking a little bit about the Family Medical Leave Act today. I know your Employment Law Division handles a lot of these cases. So first, let's just talk about what it is. What is the Family Medical Leave Act?
Sure. You know, it's been around about 20 years, and it is in case you have a serious medical condition or one of your family members does, or maybe the birth of a child. This act will protect your job for up to 12 weeks if you have to take off and deal with that. And it doesn't even have to be, you know, one day after another. It's 12 weeks within a year. It only applies to certain employees. You've had to work for the company for about at least a year, and your company should have 50 employees in the kind of immediate area. And if you work for someone like that and you have some unforeseen serious medical condition, then you can take that time off. It's not paid, but it saves your job for up to 12 weeks, which is it's just so important nowadays. You know, jobs are hard to come by, so it's a really important act.
Absolutely, and it really is pretty simple, but it's actually regularly violated. So let's talk about some of those common violations. What do you see in your office?
Yeah, well, you know, the government just did a study since it was its anniversary to see what are common violations of the FMLA, and it really mirrors the kind of cases we have. They say, I believe 70% of the time an employer will contact the employee and ask them to do work when they're supposed to be off on leave. And I don't think, you know, it's a big deal if someone calls and says, hey, where'd you leave the key to the restroom? Right. You might do that, but you don't want them making sales calls from their home.
Exactly.
A lot of employees will use these absences in an evaluation. And that's tough because the absence, you should not be penalized if you're taking your leave under FMLA. And a lot of employees just forget to tell their employee about this right, you know, and they have it. I would say probably the biggest thing that leads to cases in our division, in our employment law division, is when somebody is punished for taking the FMLA. They either come back and they're demoted to a position and that maybe makes less money, right, or their job's given away to someone else where they're gone. We have sometimes they'll come back and the employer will give them a bad review, or maybe right before they take FMLA they'll get bad reviews and lose their job when it becomes apparent.
Repercussion.
Yeah, repercussion. When it becomes apparent that really they're getting punished for using this act that they've got a right to kind of get their affairs in order and their life in order.
Absolutely. So when should somebody contact your office? What do they need to do? Well,
I think when somebody feels that repercussion is coming, when they've lost their job after saying they're going to go on FMLA, or been demoted when they come back from FMLA, they should call us. Mm-hmm. And you know, whether they need a lawyer or not, our Employment Law Division does not mind talking to them and letting them know what their rights are.
Absolutely. You're on their side and going to help them out a lot. Thanks, Jim, so much.
Thank you.
The Higgins Firm is serving Tennessee. Give them a call at 615-924-8500 or go to higginsfirm.com.